You said we're going to do something to your brain.
Hello and welcome to Dead Air 9. This time we're talking about men, manly men, and other men. Venus and colonizing it. And, of course, Ben Shapiro. Got stuff to say about Ben Shapiro, Christina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. Yep. So yesterday, we published your.
We film these on Saturdays.
Yep.
Yep.
That's right. We film these on Saturdays. So. Yep. Byron Howitzer destroys Beauty and the Beast.
Yes. What do you have to say about Ben Shapiro? Yeah.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro. Well, this is my only real thought that I had in mind. Is what percentage of like Ben Shapiro viewers are one, like hate watching, two, or like watching, ironically, two, how many people think that he's being ironic, because you hear that with like Andrew Tate defenders and people like that. He's being ironic.
But do they think that?
Do they think that, or are they just saying that?
Yeah. Do they know what that means?
Versus...
you can be ironic. Yeah, I mean, you could be ironic and not be sarcastic, right?
Yeah, I mean...
I suppose. I mean, you could... Whatever.
Yeah, just because when we watched, what was it, like his three Barbie videos...
Yeah.
To prepare for doing the Schulmaster. Yeah, it was just something that I kept wondering about, is like how much of it is played up, or how much does he actually believe the stuff that he says? I mean, did he really care about the Barbie movie, or is it like there was an expectation that it was going to do well at the box office, so you can get loads of views if you...
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think?
I think that while these people are shills, that isn't actually the primary motivation for the most successful ones, because I mean, Tucker Carlson especially, he is like, I can't remember what it was, but worth a lot of money. Ben Shapiro, I don't know what he's worth, but I do know he lives in like a $3 million house in an exclusive part of Florida.
Yeah.
And I imagine that Ben Shapiro could probably retire like tomorrow and live not just a good life, like the life he and his wife have become accustomed to. And I just think, like with Tucker Carlson, with Ben Shapiro, with Andrew Tate, it starts to be about, you made your money, but now what? I want my impact. I want my voice out there.
Yeah.
Like, why did Tucker Carlson get kicked off Fox and then start his Twitter thing?
Yeah.
He didn't need the money,
got
did
plenty
he?
of money, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's, I guess that's the core of what my question is. Like, what is the truth in terms of what they believe and are, I imagine that, like they do, okay, if you believe something and then you're rewarded for that belief consistently, is that reinforcing it, or do you genuinely already have such a strong belief? Like, here's the core of my question as well.
This is still the question?
This is also it, yeah.
Yeah.
I need more coffee.
No.
Why does Ben Shapiro care so much about gender roles, for example?
Okay.
Like, why does he give a shit?
Yeah, okay. Well, actually, I don't think he does that much. I think that probably what we're seeing in play is, like, people like Shapiro, with Andrew Tate, it's more a compulsion. But Shapiro is kind of more forward-thinking. And with most of them, I think that they are sincere in their beliefs, but what their beliefs are kind of a little less palatable than what they say. But they do sincerely believe in, whether they have a crystal clear image of what they want is another thing. But they do believe in a kind of, I don't know, like a fantasy Gilead light, even.
Right,
maybe not that extreme.
Yeah.
But, all of this is just part of the real problem, which is they all believe that the ends justify the means. Because the ends are, this is what God wants. The stakes couldn't be higher. right? So if we have to lie and massage the facts and, you know, occasionally be a bit dog whistly, well, that's not great. But if it means ushering in God's will, then it's worth it. That's why they're dangerous.
You mean like Shapiro, like specifically? Like, because I don't think Tate actually believes anything to do
Oh,
with
no, I don't think... No, I was talking more about the kind of... what would you call it? The kind of the more premeditated types.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shapiro, Peterson sort of thing.
Right, interesting, yeah. Yeah.
Anyone who's ever breathed the same air as Peter Thiel.
Yeah,
Don't forget to Brock the vote.
Brock the vote. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so was that your question? Was there a question?
I guess. More like prompts.
How?
Start talking.
How? Yeah, I was wearing an onion around my belt, which was the style at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how sincere, you know, I think that there is probably a really complicated transformation that goes on where, you know, I think that, wow, I'm going to really go on a ramble here. I think that, like, I actually think Tolkien got it spot on with Lord of the Rings, the idea of the ring and it being irresistible, the power being irresistible.
Yeah, sure.
And, but people are obviously still constrained in reality. You know, Ben Shapiro knows he's not going to be the president. Andrew Tate knows he's not actually going to secede from Romania and start Tateland. But, you know, how can you exercise power as someone who isn't, you know, born into the political class, as someone who isn't, you know, a billionaire able to actually, like, rub shoulders with people in power and influence things. You try and get your voice out, you try and get your voice heard. And, you know, a huge part of that journey, you know, your journey on fame, of going from nothing to, like, now people know me and I'm Googled and people are actually coming up to me and saying, what do you think about this? And they will listen to me. I think that, you know, that is usually combined at the beginning with, and I can make money from this. Oh, and I can actually make a lot of money from this. I think a lot of people start pretty kind of small in their aspirations. Like, what? So I can go on YouTube and I can make enough money to live, and I don't have to have a shit job. That was definitely a factor for me. Like, well, I don't have to work in an office or even a factory. And I can do this, and it's kind of fun. Yeah. And then you get to the point of, like, well, now I want to buy 3 houses. And then you get to the point where money doesn't mean anything. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe like small concessions along the way, you know, that seem justified.
Yeah, it's all baby steps, isn't it?
If I just, you know, I do think that, you know, I don't know, whatever it is, like, marriage should be between a man and a woman. Now, it's not a big leap to then take that, you know, just make it just a little bit more extreme, you know, and then, oh, that's got a good reaction.
Marriage should just be men.
I guess what I'm saying is, like, yeah, there's definitely not a load of money to be made in trying to be, like, reasonable.
I suppose not. Agree?
Yeah. And, yeah. Anything else, I mean, about Ben Shapiro?
No, but I'm a different type of extreme, though. I'm extremely reasonable.
Yeah, right, extremely.
I will enforce reasonableness with...
an iron fist.
Like, yeah, I mean, like, searing belligerence. Yeah. Like, shut down and listen to that Nazi. Right, now you tell him why he's a knobbit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if I believe that, though.
Yeah. What were
we talking about?
I was going to say, what were the products that he was selling again on the Barbie thing? ExpressVPN. Pillows.
Oh, yeah.
Pillows. Buy gold.
Yeah,
are conspiracy theorists into pillows? That's not my pillow? Because it wasn't my pillow.
When you think about it, right, if you were going to nebulize a chemical agent, right, a pillow would be a great
swallow first.
Right? I think if you look, actually you'll find that all of the big pillow manufacturers you know, Zinus, etc. They're actually all owned by DARPA shell companies. It's all about...
And the New World Order. They're all owned by the New World Order.
They're all owned by the New World Order.
No, not that. Advertising pillows.
Like when you walk up to like a federal building, you'll see the federal agents outside. They'll have a little badge on, and they'll see you come in, and they'll quickly change the badge so it doesn't say New World Order anymore.
New World Order.
It just says
pillows.
FBI.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, one thing I was going to say about Shapiro was he's interesting in that I think his brand of misogyny is, I mean, definitely not unique or anything, but kind of like obscure in a way. I remember talking to someone like in my early 20s, and he was like 40 something, and he was like a very intelligent sort of academic type, and I never read anything by him that would come across as misogynistic. I remember talking about like I can't remember, just something to do with women in power, and him saying like women have enough power.
Yeah, right. Yeah, interesting.
And
right.
Yeah, and so yeah, that kind of leads me back to, so that leads me to Ben Shapiro, and I you know, there's many reasons that people are misogynistic, not least just the way they're raised. But also, I think that, you know, a lot of it is to do with internal conflict, isn't it all? And
yeah,
and sometimes that's about, you know, yeah, I want to be a woman, but I'm born in a conservative family, and not that it matters. Oh, but now people are having sex changes, gender changes.
It's becoming more acceptable.
And now I could do it, but you know, I think that is a bit of it, but not with him. With him, I don't think it's. I'm not saying like all misogynists are, you know, kind of people who wish they were brave enough to be transgender or anything.
I get what you're saying, yeah.
But I do think that is actually a non-zero number.
I think that, yeah, I mean, just even, I think I see what you're saying, and just even kind of more subtle than that, like, and, you know, I'm not saying this about Ben Shapiro or about anyone, but... Shapiro. But, like, I definitely, while watching that stuff, was like, did Ben Shapiro, like, really want to play with Barbies when he was little, but was told you can't do that because that's not what boys do? There's almost like a... Again, I'm not talking really about him specifically, just... I often wonder if, like, there are dudes out there who are upset about the really in a lot of ways, like, misandrist social expectations about them being men. Do you know what I mean? Like, being upset about that and flipping it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't know. Like, you were saying as well, like, you know, that it's interesting that they're... Well, why don't you tell about...
I think what my 40-year-old lonely friend kind of meant with women have enough power was I don't, like, looking back, I don't actually think he meant, like, women have enough positions in government. I think he meant socially. And I think that's what Ben thinks, whether he would say it or not. I think that he... And I think as well, that is actually kind of a misogynistic fantasy of this idea of a woman, because really when they talk about it, they're always talking about like an attractive 20-something-year-old woman.
It's often like women can have sex with anybody that they want.
Yeah.
Women, you see that in like the incel community
hot
stuff.
women
like,
can.
Like, yeah, and I mean, you know, assuming they want to.
Assuming they want to.
Yeah, like not everybody is...
But that's what they want. If they were a woman...
Yeah,
well,
it's just more like the anger of like, I wish that I could just get laid to whoever I wanted, whenever I wanted, or...
I definitely think
view.
that, I don't know, most, but a lot of 20-year-old dudes, if they could have sex with anyone, like if for some reason like women were just like incredibly attracted, they'd have sex with loads of women. And I think it's kind of like they think that that is what women have.
Yeah, right. There's no ugly women or socially awkward women or women with disabilities or... You know, yeah,
they don't count. We're not talking about them.
I know, they don't count. That's not what we're really mad about. We're mad about supermodels don't want me. That's how it comes across. Again, I'm not talking.
It's not about
specifically
supermodels don't
Charlotte.
want me. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. It's no one wants me as much as people want them.
Yeah. Right.
Is there a bug in my hair?
A bug just
Fuck.
landed on your head. Yeah. It's that time of year.
Oh, I got the queen.
Mm-hmm.
It's that time of year when bugs breed in my hair. I'm saying that it's not about like I want to be a woman. It's like I want that power, that fantasized power of being
wanted and
Gal Gadot walking in a room and everybody going, "Oh, wow, tall and beautiful," and I think that's it. Yeah. I don't think it's like they want to be beautiful. They just want that adoration, that perceived adoration.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's interesting stuff, and then I think, as I was saying to you, I think like another part.
I think it's all to do with. Yeah, I think it's all to do with how people feel.
Yeah. And like what I was saying about identity, being so strong, like powerful to people, and I was telling you about like thinking about like Gamergate, like specific sets of dudes being like very mad that women play video games. Is
that what Gamergate was? Like,
well,
I can't even
fucking remember, but there are definitely dudes out there still who, like, think of video games as like women or like men only spaces,
and we know this like because of Twitter.
Yeah, stuff like that. So
it could be
based on absolutely nothing.
It could be, it could be I mean, it could be a tiny minority of men.
Yeah, it totally could. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just very vocal ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly. Yeah. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's like feeling the need to go on Twitter and be like, men and women and other can all play games and be happy. Like, why do you need to write that?
Why do you need to write that? Because it's just normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a very fair point. Yeah. Yeah, just a very specific group of
men
people
and
getting
women and other might like Mario
angry.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I type.
That's how you type.
Yeah.
That's not how you type.
Not like that.
This is how you type. Christina, write this down.
How dare you?
I will now orate.
Yeah. Lao.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's just a lot of factors that, lead into the way people are the way they are. The big question for me is just like, I don't know. I can't.
Okay, well, to answer your question, I think, I don't think Ben Shapiro is searingly angry about Barbie, but I do think he is searingly angry.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I get you. I mean, like, sometimes during watching them, like, he almost comes across like he's trying to hide a smile. Like, he thinks it's funny.
Well, he knows that he's going to get the reaction he did.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason to do it.
I mean, we made so much money. Yeah, great.
Yeah. Quick, somebody, go buy me some Barbie dolls so I can burn them at the beginning. And then I'll say I just got back from the cinema, even though it's clearly like 10 a.m.
That's the best time to go to the cinema, 10 a.m.
No, true story, yeah.
No way. That's the worst time of day.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more of an evening thing.
Just don't go to the cinema. I mean, it reminds me, I saw in the last Dead Air, someone asked if we're going to go see Oppenheimer and talk about it, because they said that they just went to see Oppenheimer and they came back and felt like they just saw a 3-hour trailer for Oppenheimer. I thought that was very funny. I just saw that this morning. I was like, I'll share that with George.
And then you go and see Oppenheimer, and it's actually a 9-hour film, which is a trailer for like a 21-part series.
Yeah. To answer your question, no. It takes a lot to get us out to the cinema nowadays. I'll watch it on streaming.
I would see it. I'll see it.
Yeah, but do you want to...
No.
Yeah, take the trip and everything. I will say this. We saw 2 movies at the cinema in the last... Fucking bugs. In the last, year and a half. And you know what? That theater that's closest to us that we went to, pretty decent. It was like $5 for a movie ticket each at like 6 p.m.
Yeah, but the image was bleeding over the cinema screen.
But that happened at the motherfucking Galaxy or whatever that we went to.
And I won't go back to that either.
I know, but it was like $13 a person there, and like $10 for a bottle of water and shit. This place, they had popcorn, sodas. That was it. And it was like $2 for a large popcorn, $2 for a soda. That's all we sell. $5 for your ticket. So this is, the picture is shit like every other theater, but pretty good. There was also like 20 people there, which I really liked. Could be less, but that wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially, we went to see, on Halloween, Rocky Horror Picture Show. That was really cheap, too. And it was like 11 o'clock at night. And
What else
has
been very cheap for you recently? Got any good deals at the supermarket?
God, no. No. Not really, no. I did get a really good deal on some bacon recently.
I'm begging you, turn it off.
All right. Anything else to say about Ben Shapiro?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, me either, really. Just
He is 5'9".
Why are you so mad?
You keep going on about it. He's taller than me. I'm 5'2".
I know. I remember you were like, they said he's 5'9". Here's a video or something of him being like, I'm 5'9", and a dude says I'm 5'9", and they stand next to each other.
I'm 9'5".
And they were the same height. If he's 5'9", he has a massive fucking head. I only noticed because doing the little images for the video, I had to like resize your head so much to cover his.
Well, I have a pinhead.
And you have a pinhead. Hardly.
I do. I have a very small head.
No, you don't.
Whatever.
Appropriately sized.
What did you think about Ben Shapiro and his identical twin?
His identical twin?
Brett.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
You have anything to say about that?
Girl. The girl that was doing this throughout. Oh, did you hear that?
Do your face.
No, that's all I really remember.
Do your face.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, listen to this. I don't know why it does that. Feels good.
Synovial fluid.
Well, my leg isn't popping when I lift my knee up slightly, George. Maybe it does. I love your high kicks.
Yeah.
No, what did you have to say about her?
Just I thought nothing really about her. I just thought it was interesting, telling, and interesting that they brought her on. Like Ben Shapiro talks to what's her name, Brett Cooper. It's like
some rich
Brett,
kid name.
Yeah, like a Brett Tanner Fletcher Cooper.
Yeah, Fletcher.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting that they brought her on, like Ben Shapiro, online personality, who talks to another online personality about this. Didn't mention anywhere that she works for the Daily Wire.
Yeah. I guess I'm assuming that people who watch his stuff and the other people that are on Daily Wire would know that, but...
It's always fascinating to me to watch people talk to their bosses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Which is what was going on. She was extremely deferential and submissive.
Yeah.
And...
I mean, what is she, like 19?
Yeah, so. I mean... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And yeah, like I say... It's interesting when you see other people chew each other out, and like, who's most humiliated by that? Mm-hmm. The 20-year-old who he made bow to him or him for doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was weird. It really reminded me of like, maybe it's still like this, but Fox News, like.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, have you?
Yeah.
Where they used to have like, you'd have like the Bill O'Reilly show, and he'd be like, now I'm going to interview a liberal, and it's like somebody that works for Fox that just calls themselves a liberal.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, and then it cuts to a homeless man going,
yeah. No, it'll be somebody that's employed by them, or is like a regular, speaker on like, on Fox, shows, and all they do is agree with the person on the show. Be like, well, I don't know, because I'm a liberal, I think maybe this, but you're right. Because it's like a fake opposition.
That's my reason for thinking this is because I am a liberal.
Yes. Yeah, stuff like that. It just reminded me of that, we need somebody to fill this blank who can like say, oh, I liked the Barbie movie,
it.
But also I agree with every single point you're making.
Somehow.
For the most part. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah, so something less obnoxious for the next one. Some things that we watched in the last 2 weeks, since we weren't here last week for dinner. I got Dungeons and Dragons, Den of Thieves.
Dungeons and Dragons, Den of Thieves is a huge trailer for Dungeons and Dragons merchandise everywhere. But it surprised us in that it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It was basically set in the Dungeons and Dragons universe, kind of like a medieval adventure caper heist movie.
It's like a heist movie in the Dungeons and Dragons universe. Yeah.
Obviously aimed at kind of like the family audience. It was pretty well done. It was, it was not original in any way. It's a corporate movie tie-in. But as they go, it was all right. And
I kept seeing
Tim Pine was good. Chris Pine.
Time. You got it that time. I saw ads for them, like on YouTube and stuff, and was like, man, are they making a Dungeons and Dragons movie? Because I remember the last time they tried that.
Mazes and Monsters is a far-out game.
Was that the one I'm thinking of?
I don't know. Did it involve a Walter Matthau type detective asking questions such as, "Where's the paladin? What's a paladin?"
I don't think so. I'm
thinking
the one with Jeremy Irons and Thora Birch that was like absolutely awful. Oh, we're watching that today then.
Thora Birch.
Thora Birch.
Are you talking about Thora Hurd?
The
old lady in Last of the Summer Wine. Why would she be in a film with Jeremy Irons? She's like 95.
I see, you're doing a bit. Okay.
Who's Thora Birch?
The girl that was in American Beauty.
That does ring a bell.
Whose father was like a porn star and her agent and was really awful on set.
Yeah, I do remember now.
Her career kind of died.
And
I thought she was a good actor.
He was really inappropriate, right?
Like explaining how to film his daughter's breasts during the movie and stuff like that, yeah. That's what I read anyway. Who knows the real truth of it, but...
See, you could rescue it there where it cuts to him going, "Don't!"
Just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe,
Through the back of my hand. Right.
So, yeah, they made...
Okay.
And Jeremy Irons was in it sometime in the 90s.
Oh.
I can't remember. Okay. That's the last one that I remember seeing, and it was dreadful.
Have you ever seen Mazes and Monsters? It's Tom Hanks' first movie, I think.
I have not seen that. No. Is that a D&D thing as well?
It's an anti-D&D thing.
Is it?
That's why they don't call it Dungeons and Dragons. They call it Mazes and Monsters. Yeah, it's about... I think Tom Hanks... I have seen it at least twice. Although it was with Damien, so, I can't remember that well.
I see.
But I think Tom Hanks becomes obsessed with not Dungeons and Dragons and then, murders his friend because he thinks he's actually a cleric or something. And it's kind of like part of this... It's unironically, satanic panicky.
Okay.
It's rubbish as well.
I mean, the name sounds familiar, but I don't think I've seen it. No.
Mazes and Monsters is a far-out game.
Okay.
That's the quote that stays with me. Also, I think Tom Hanks has a great bit in it where he, they obviously should have done another take. He's 20. But he says, "I want to put a warlock." And it sounds like he's got socks in his mouth. But I could be thinking of another one.
Okay.
This is informative in no way. There's a film I saw once.
Yeah.
It might have been Tom Hanks. Might have been Steve Buscemi. Definitely. It might not have even been a white man.
We'll look into this.
It might not be a movie.
But yeah, I saw the commercials for it and was like, man, are they doing that again? Another one of those? Because that last one that I saw was absolutely awful. And I haven't really heard people talk about this. Not that I look for it. And then it was out on streaming, and we were like, oh, I bet this will be dumb. Let's check it out.
I thought it'd be like a Robin Hood, 2018 sort of Robin Hood. I thought it'd be condescending and
right,
kind of dumb.
Okay, see, I was expecting, because it's D&D, expecting, I don't know, a really generic story about, evil king.
I mean, it was fairly generic. It just hit all the right beats in the right way.
Yeah. And yeah, I thought it was pretty enjoyable for a family adventure movie.
Yeah, a safe movie, but a good,
it made me laugh a number of times. Yeah.
Hugh Grant is in it as, I suppose, an exaggerated version of Hugh Grant. Mm-hmm. And there's a genuine... It made me laugh. There's a bit where there's a hot air balloon going around above the town, and it's just an enormous image of his grinning face.
Yeah, that was very funny.
That was very funny.
Yeah. There were a number of bits that like really got me chuckling. Yeah, the fat dragon really did it for me.
Oh yeah.
They're like in a cave, and there's a dragon in here, and it comes out, and it's like huge. It's like,
Yeah.
And it's just like rolling around and like sliding down stuff. Like it was pretty funny. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Cocaine dragon.
I enjoyed the Chris Pine is like a bard. And the bit where he distracts, they're trying to sneak into like the castle or whatever, and
so your mage lad does some astral projecting.
Yeah, he does like a hologram of Chris Pine singing on his on his lute, and then the spell like starts fading, and his head just starts melting, and it was really funny.
It's a really fun effect
because you didn't know that it was like some kind of hologram. Again. So when it happened, it's like holy fuck. Yeah. And Chris Pine turns around. He's like, I think they're getting suspicious.
Yeah, it's very like
light and funny, simple.
And the effect of his eye like starting to slowly protrude,
like it's gonna pop. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was intense.
Very funny.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not expecting it. So
that reminds me actually. Just to quickly say, I saw that Baldur's Gate 3 is out, which is based in the D&D universe. And I know that people really liked Baldur's Gate 2. It's not really my sort of game. But I saw that with Baldur's Gate 3 that they've made a point of having no DLC or microtransactions. No in-game purchases. Maybe there'll be DLC, but...
Yeah, right.
Just thought that was worth mentioning.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah.
I played one of them and was like, thought it was lame, but that was a long time ago. I think I only played like the beginning.
Isn't it one of those games where no one is actually sure if there ever was a first one? Kind of like Street Fighter 2. That had a predecessor which was completely different. What is it? Mountain Blade 2, Crusader Kings 2. Crusader Kings 1 is.
Oh yeah, I get you.
It's like Minesweeper compared to Crusader Kings 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Is it like that? System Shock 2.
I don't know, to be honest.
Godfather 2.
I think I was probably like, I don't know, like a teenager or something when I played whichever one I played, and I was like, this is boring. Why is everything brown?
This is woke.
No, I did not. This is woke. Yeah.
Why is everything brown?
I'm not joking. Like everything is brown.
Wasn't that all 90s games?
And like why am I in a sewer for so long? You know.
You wouldn't have liked the original Fallout games.
Yeah, maybe not. Sewer levels always the worst.
Yeah. Can you think of a game where sewer levels are good?
Shit.
Alright, we'll mull on that.
Was it one of the Resident Evils where you go down in a sewer?
With the alligator.
And, like the giant alligator. I think that was fun. I recall 12-year-old me thinking, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. Can you think of one? What's a good sewer level in a game?
No, I can't think of one. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Another Chris Pine movie.
Oh, yeah.
The Contractor.
Oh, yeah.
It's about a man who comes around and takes down all the supporting walls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to explain The Contractor?
God, if I can. I was having trouble paying attention. Chris Pine, former some kind of military dude.
He's a... Okay, I'll just do it.
You do it. I was cooking dinner while we were watching it, so I was like...
Chris Pine is a Special Forces Super Army soldier, sergeant. He's a sergeant in at Fort Bragg, and he gets kicked out of the military because he's got a previous knee injury and he's illicitly taking human growth hormone and stuff like that, which you're not meant to do. And he gets kicked out, so he ends up joining a private military company who send him and his friend Ben Foster to Berlin to assassinate a Syrian-descended German citizen who is potentially making chemical weapons or something, or biological weapons. And they're obsessed with taking him out, stealing his data, and burning his lab down. And they do that and things go wrong because they're clueless. And then it turns out they've been betrayed by their PMC, headed by Kiefer Sutherland, for no reason other than to keep costs down. I think.
You mean why they were betrayed?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really not clear to me why he chose him, why you couldn't just have like some random street person murder this scientist who's just kind of walking around Berlin.
And then Chris Pine goes back to America and takes down Kiefer Sutherland and his 3 bodyguards.
Yes, that's the entire PMC unit.
The entire HQ, yeah.
In a house.
So, it was interesting because I thought, like, is it sort of trying to be born? It had that sort of element of getting betrayed, but then it all sort of tied itself up, and it came across as a big mess. Yeah, which is a shame because it had Ben Foster in it, who's really good.
I like Kiefer Sutherland. I think he's great. Yeah, needed more Ben Foster and Kiefer Sutherland for sure.
And I like Chris Pine as well.
Yeah, I like Chris Pine as well.
Eye-poppy bard.
Yeah.
And it came across kind of like it was almost trying to, I suppose, like serve the Tom Clancy fans of being, kind of hyper real in the way it handled things, but it wasn't that at all. It was really bad. Like, they go to... Okay, well, firstly, I mean, the whole premise is wrong. Like, so they go to Berlin to kill this guy because he's got links to Al-Qaeda, is what they say.
Or is it the Taliban?
No, it was Al-Qaeda. Okay, yeah. This is 2022. He's got links to Al-Qaeda. So we're going to send 3 Americans to Berlin with like M4s with suppressors, like military grade hardware, like military grade night vision. So if they get caught, like this looks really bad. We're going to send them there, and we're going to get them to go into his lab, burn it down, but also make it look like an industrial accident where they have to kill him by injecting him with H1N1.
Yeah.
But also to get into the lab, they held up the guard to use his thumbprint. Yeah, so the guard's gonna be like, I don't know, I didn't see anything.
Yeah, what happened to him?
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
The way you do it, right, is you send a couple of breaking and entering guys who have an auto lockpick. It's a really simple tool. SWAT uses it. You can buy them. American lockpicks, any tumbler lock, get through it in seconds, right? They're professional. They've got all that kit, right? They're not fucking Americans. You ring your German cell up. They send those dudes around. They break in. They do it every day. They're not going to fuck it up. They break in. They wait in his house. And then when he comes back in, they throw him down the stairs and kill him. And it looks like he fell down the stairs. And they leave.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't break into his lab with like people with like guns like that.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that did not make any sense. Do you remember when there was like a firefight in like the downtown streets of Berlin for like 15 minutes and just no police ever showed up?
It would be like an international incident.
Yeah, I feel like they'd be there in like a second.
Yeah.
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 It was weird.
I think so.
Yeah.
And no one can hit anything.
Yeah, there's
They're
always
all
that,
ex-Marines.
Yeah. But then there would be bits where like you see like dudes in like a SWAT formation that looks like pretty good. For like a second, and then you see a cartoon blood spray.
Yes.
And you're like, did that come from that person's head? It was over here, and
so they
it looked like a built-in effect, like.
Yeah, like the bit at the end with Ben Foster where he kills those 3, I guess, bodyguards of Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
He just gets out of his car. They know him, and they're not expecting him to shoot them. And I think it's done really well. It's done in one shot, and he like shoots 2 of them.
3 like in a row.
And then the third guy gets up and runs, and he shoots him in the back of the head.
Yeah, and it's all just like the camera just pans like with it, and I was like, that looks really good.
And then because Ben Foster is a Special Forces, they only teach you this in Special Forces. He is fighting with Kiefer Sutherland with the handgun. He unloads the handgun, and then any army guy will tell you what you do then is you run forward into fire with an unloaded handgun.
Yeah, out of cover.
And you reload as you're running at them. They never expect that.
You want to reload when you're not in cover. It's really important. Yeah. Yeah, like so, and those were like one right after the other.
Yeah.
Which was like, it was like, oh, that looks really. Oh, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, weird.
German police are yeah, go on.
I was just gonna say, I don't think anybody cares if we spoil this. And then when he gets
don't watch it.
Chris Pine gets inside, finds Kiefer Sutherland, who's been, like, shooting out the window, stands over him, and then just shoots him in the head, and then that's the end.
Yeah.
Of that whole scene. Like, that's the climax. Like, it was... I don't know. Just weird. It almost felt like this was super rushed. You know? Or maybe it's based on a book or something.
I also meant to look if it's based on a book.
You had that thought, too?
Yeah. Do you want to quickly look?
Yeah, my phone's out there. Do you want me to read it? You have yours.
What I was going to say was there's a bit where they get into a fight with German police who they're just shooting at because why not? Mm. And there you go. And like if you were a German policeman arriving in a van and the 3 police cars in front of you are full of bullets and surrounded by dead policemen, would you get out of the van and just run down the street? Or would you like get out of the van and get out the ground and start like saying to other policemen like, where are they? And I don't know, it's just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got it here. Let's see. Keep talking if you like.
And then on the other hand, there's a bit where before Chris Pine gets involved with the PMC, he meets with Ben Foster, his friend who recruits him, and they have like a little chat in a room, and it's not like particularly like it's not like wonderful writing or anything, but it feels quite different in that it gives them lots of space. The edit gives them lots of space, and you kind of think like, oh wow, am I watching a real movie? Mm-hmm. Very weird. Another bit where they're fighting the German police. There's a shot where I think Chris Pine has a gun and he's shooting. And then it cuts to almost exactly the same shot, except the camera's moved ever so slightly, and he's shooting. And I just cannot interpret that as anything other than a mistake. It is bizarre.
Yeah, right.
Did you find out?
Not based on a book, from what I can see. I don't see anything,
right.
At least on Wikipedia.
Based on a massive mess, then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and Eddie Marsan's in it for like 10 seconds.
Eddie Marsan.
The guy who gets shot in the head when he's feeding him dinner.
Oh, yeah.
So you forgot about that, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Is he a French guy? Right.
I thought he was meant to be like a Marine this had happened to 10 years earlier who'd survived. I thought he was meant to be American, but who'd been living in Germany so long. He was now speaking like this.
Yeah, right, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he only
picked up a teensy-weensy little accent.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was almost like rushed and also muddled.
It was muddled. I didn't hate it, but it seemed like a waste.
Yeah.
Especially with Ben Foster.
Yeah, I mean, what was the point with all those, like, flashback hallucinations that Chris Pine was having of himself as a little boy?
Getting tattooed.
Yeah, there was that, and then there's one where he just sees himself, like, digging in the woods. Well, and, like, has a vision of his dad being like, get back here.
Well, they kind of flirt with, I kind of think, like, maybe the idea at one point was we're going to make a film which is about how, the US Army, any army, disposes of its soldiers once it's done with them, which is, a historical through line, perhaps. But they kind of backed off on that and rather blamed it all on a PMC. Well,
when I was looking at the Wikipedia page, it said that, I just glanced into production, it was, when they were making it, it had a different title, and they changed the title before it came out. I wonder if this has been actually, like, cut down a lot from something else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, maybe.
Yeah.
Because it kept feeling like things were missing and, like, not explained in any way that made sense, and maybe it was originally, like, longer or, like, even, like, a short series or something. I have no idea. But, yeah, very weird.
Very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Men?
Oh, yeah, Men.
Men.
Right. What was that on?
Men. What was it on? I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember. A movie.
Channel 17.
Called Men. Was it...
What?
I'm trying to think of where it was made. Because I didn't think it was English. I thought they said it was, like Scottish or something. Anyway. Okay. What was Men about?
You tell us.
Okay.
I did all that.
Sure. Okay. Men is about a woman who goes to stay at like I guess like an Airbnb or a rental place in the country, this big house, after they kind of make it out like she's recently divorced, but then very quickly she makes it clear that her husband is dead. And then things get really creepy in this town, and it turns out every man in the town is like a creepy weirdo. And they're all, I think, played by the same person in like different makeup.
Well, I
All
mean,
the men,
it's not
I mean-
everybody in the town, is it? The guy who serves her a pint is never in it again.
Yeah. I can't recall, but it definitely... I kept seeing like the like young boy, and he had like the face of like the other dude.
The priest
Maybe
and
I'm
the
wrong, but-
Airbnb renter
Yeah.
were the same, weren't they?
Yeah. And I
And also there's a Spriggan.
Yes, there's a Spriggan in this. Yeah, there's a man who, I guess, walks around naked and puts sticks in his face, and this is meant to represent something.
So I guess we were thinking that it was going to be about, like the horror story was going to be about like, this woman wants to be alone in a Airbnb after a tragedy, but because she's alone, men are like, oh, she's single.
Yeah, I thought it would be like a horror.
And the horror would be men are creepy.
Yeah, or all the,
But
or
that would have been way more interesting than this.
or that all the creepy men in the town were part of like something. We kept like saying throughout, like, is this going to be like a cult or something? You know, like, what's the story here? Like, the whole town's in on
it's
it,
not
kind of.
really ever
deal.
explained.
No, it's not ever explained
It's
at
just
all.
supernatural
Uh-huh.
nonsense where they must have made this and then thought we'll call it men because then people will think it's a comment on something.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas it's not. It's a generic, badly acted, badly made load of shit.
Very boring horror movie.
Fucking A24.
The bit where, toward the beginning, where she's walking through the woods and then, like, down a tunnel and, like, singing into the tunnel, that felt like it went on for 40 fucking minutes.
That's not how echoes work.
Yeah, I know, and that's all I could think during that. That's not how echoes work.
Might be. You're not an echo expert. Can ducks echo?
What?
Does a quack echo?
I bet it does.
Alright, you got lucky there.
Yeah, yeah, like, just...
I've seen Jamie and Adam experiment on it, and it does indeed echo. The Mythbusters.
I knew what you were thinking, yeah, just... Okay, good. Speaking of quacking.
Gotta be worse if he quacked.
Yeah, it would, yeah. I don't know, the howls are pretty funny. How does he do it? Do it for him. When a car drives by. Anyways. So, yeah, then, yep, creepy. And we keep getting flashbacks to her, I guess, pretty mentally unwell / abusive husband who...
Possibly kills himself.
Yeah, she locked him out of their apartment, and then he went into the apartment upstairs and tried to climb down from their balcony to the one below to hers, and then fell, or maybe did it intentionally. It's not clear. I guess it's kind of meant to be about grief or something. I don't really know. And then when we get to like the ending, I think that's actually what the reason for making the movie was. Remember the ending? The dudes giving birth to other dudes over and over in a yard for no reason.
What a cool effect that was.
Then the movie ends.
That was the only... Yeah, that bit was really well done. The effects were really good.
Yeah, but...
I mean, nonsense.
Yeah,
it didn't make any sense, but...
Yeah, I'm not... like we were saying, like, I'm not impressed by just effects anymore. What's the point?
Yeah, I agree. Wouldn't it be gross if a man gave birth to another fully grown man, feet first out of his mouth, and then having watched that, it's like, that's not that gross.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just as gross as watching, like, a calf be born or something.
I mean, it was kind of hilarious to me, because...
Yeah.
You know, like...
Well, it's pathetic,
Well, and it just kept going, and I'm like, what are we trying to say here, I guess? People get born...
It was like a 13-year-old's attempt to shock by saying, like, a racist word or something.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, like, pathetic.
Yeah.
Did I say pathetic?
It just very, just made no sense at all, didn't make me feel anything, didn't give two shits about anything happening, and especially when you're gonna do something that I think they were trying to make it kind of like surreal, especially where we get to the bits
it's easy, isn't it?
Yeah, where it's like her running down a hall, and then looking around, and then we see the exact same scene of her running down that same hallway, and then she looks around somewhere else, and then she runs down the hallway again. I already saw it.
And then John Cleese
What is the point?
running, and then people are going, and then John Cleese is running.
Yeah, that's way better. Yeah, didn't get the point. It seemed like the point was, you were saying when we got to the ending, like, I bet that they had this idea first. The men giving birth to men, fully grown men, in a big cycle.
It's
as
just
they're
like half an
walking through a
idea.
house. Yeah, I mean, it kind of comes across that way. They were like, wouldn't that be creepy? Well, let's write a story around that. Like, well, what should be the point? It doesn't matter. I don't know.
Yes, I mean, at least the human centipede, which obviously was built around the idea of there's a human centipede, at least that was actually kind of like gross and oh yeah, that is a horrible idea. Mm-hmm. But
and that's the point of it. It comes across with the human centipede, and that's fine. But like this was just like the ending as well. And then what was with the dude who like had his hand like cut down through his wrist like this, and then kept turning into other dudes, and then his cartoon hand parts were like doing this. And I guess that was supposed to be scary, and it just made me laugh every single time.
We just needed a reason. Like, what was going on?
What's the point? Yeah.
It's like I watched a movie about a woman having a bad dream.
Yeah, which you can do and and do it well. But
you should end all movies with Woody Harrelson waking up going, "Oh man, that was crazy."
Yeah. Yeah, I just do not get it. Didn't get it. Didn't get what they were trying to say, what they're trying to go for, what I was meant to be thinking or feeling, or why.
Yeah, a rather thick mixture of contempt and boredom.
Yeah, which is an obnoxious combination.
It is, yeah.
It was very boring.
Yeah.
Anything else to say about that?
No.
Okay, another thing that we watched kind of recently, probably got nothing to say, Knock at the Cabin.
Yeah, yeah. Every time you've mentioned it, I've always had to be like, yeah. Okay, hang on, let me just remember. Obviously, I know it's M. Night Shyamalan, and obviously I remember him being in it for a minute. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's been like 2 weeks since we watched it. Mm-hmm. Let me remember what it is. Okay, so Knock at the Cabin is about people who are trapped in a cabin?
Kind of.
Oh, no, I remember. Okay, yeah. Okay, I remember now.
Every time for the last week I've been like, oh, we're going to mention Knock on the Cabin. You're like, what's that?
I keep getting mixed up with Knock on the Cabin, Bird Box, and what's the other one that I was saying is that Bird Box yesterday?
A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that's A Quiet Place. Is that Bird Box? That's A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
Is it a Bird Box sequel? No, we've watched it. It's awful. But everybody else loved it, apparently. Whatever. Yeah.
Well, they're wrong.
Yeah. I like the bit with the little kid getting killed by the alien at the beginning. That's creepy.
Bird Box.
I know, yeah. Go on.
Okay, so... Yeah, I do remember now. So, it's about two gay guys and their adopted daughter, I think. Mm-hmm. Or maybe a surrogate.
It's adopted, yeah.
It's adopted.
She's adopted, yeah.
It's adopted.
Pretty sure.
They're two guys and its daughter they live in a cabin in the woods, happily, and 4 people turn up, including Rupert Grint, doing his best American accent.
Yeah, and Drax.
And Drax also doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
I'd say all of the heavy lifting, yeah.
They arrive and they are convinced that if they don't make those 3 people, the 2 gay dads and the 8-year-old adopted daughter, choose which one of them should sacrifice themselves.
Yeah,
or
one of you has to kill one of the other.
Yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm. The world is going to end. Mm-hmm. And they've had prophetic visions. Mm-hmm. And slowly, as things go on, it starts to all become true.
Yeah, they're like, you have to choose, and then when they're like, no, we're not going to do it, then one of the 4 people, clearly meant to be like, I guess meant to be like representatives of like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, even though there's like it doesn't make any sense in terms of like them representing anything. Anyways.
What do they say in it? The 4 aspects of humanity. Malicious, guidance. Malicious guidance, water and rice.
It was something like that, yeah. Something that...
Yeah.
Completely unrelated to the like Four Horsemen or Revelation or whatever. Who cares? They say you have to choose, and then people say no, we're not going to do that, and then they kill each of the three horsemen kill one of the other horsemen, like by bashing their head in, and we can't see it, even though it's pretty sure it was an R-rated horror movie. I thought.
Was it R-rated?
I can't recall.
Well,
actually.
if it's R-rated, I don't know why.
I thought we said that when we were watching it. You were like, part of the problem is this is PG-13, and I was like, it's rated R. You're like, what? For what?
Is it rated R?
I thought it was. Anywho.
Yeah, it was toothless. I mean, not that I particularly wanted to see someone get their head cut off or something, and not that that would have made the film better, but it did feel like, oh, right.
Yeah, we didn't really...
We don't even get that.
Yeah. There just didn't feel like there was much, Yeah, toothless is probably a good word, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like all of his stuff, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they just kind of go down the line until there's like one horseman left, and then what? Be quiet, Mo. How did it end? Like one of them. We kept thinking like, okay, each of these dudes, this couple, one of them is like supposed to be like evil or something, and one person.
I thought they were going to do something where the sort of more vocal dad was going to turn out to be like the serpent, because he started saying things like, "No, it doesn't matter if the whole world dies. We'll have each other."
Yeah, right.
And things
exactly.
that could perhaps be interpreted as a parent who wants to live and their daughter to live, or the serpent, I suppose. But it wasn't like that.
No.
And oh, Jesus Christ, yeah.
Oh man, remember throughout, like while like the horsemen, I'm just gonna call them that, are like trying to convince them like this is true, and they'll be like, we had a dream that there's going to be a plague, see, look, and then turns on the TV and it's like, there is a plague. I love that in movies where it's like,
well, they actually had a bit where it doesn't do that though, remember?
No. Yeah, why don't you check on him?
5 minutes later.
Would you say one of the most boring Shyamalan movies?
I mean, not contemporaneously, no. I mean, one of his most boring until like 2010 or something, but no, I mean, the last, kind of his second phase, where, he's... I mean, what he did was he rose, and he didn't really plateau. He dove pretty quick in terms of industry reputation, how much money they were prepared to put behind him, which really is all it is. No, I mean, he's... No, I wouldn't say this was one of the most boring ones.
Yeah.
No, I'd say that I'd say Old was very boring.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'd say that the one... Oh, God, I've seen it twice. The one in a cabin in the woods with granddad.
Oh, I forgot that one existed. Yeah, about the one that makes it like dead obvious what the whole point is at the very beginning.
Yeah.
You're going to see your grandparents. I won't be going with you while I drop you off with them, but you're going to your grandparents' house and you've never seen them. And it turns out they're not their grandparents. There's some old people that escaped from a mental hospital and killed their grandparents.
Yeah.
Like, it's like so obvious.
Almost
from the
as dumb
setup.
as Shutter Island.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I don't think Shyamalan has made anything worth talking about since Lady in the Water.
Mm-hmm.
Which was, what, 2007?
Also, yeah. Let me say this. I think for me, Old was almost funny bad. It was like bordering on it because it was so stupid, like the premise and stuff. It gave me some chuckles.
The cool savior at the end.
Cool. Is he like a security guard or some shit? I can't recall.
I learned some fucking acting lessons, Manoj.
Just don't be in your own movies.
Just don't. Well, I mean, no, be in them. Just act.
Yeah.
Just act.
Yeah, nothing will ever beat his Lady in the Water part, though. The savior of humanity.
What's next?
Oh yeah, MerPeople. I don't know if I have a lot to say about that actually.
No.
Than, that was something.
It's about people who like to dress as mermaids and swim about for various reasons. Some of them want to be entertainers.
Yeah.
I think it's mainly what it's about.
People wanting to do it for a living.
I mean, definitely what the documentary was about was people wanting to do it for a living.
Yeah.
I mean, it came across as sad, and not even that weird, really. Like, if you want to do that, that's fine.
Yeah, whatever, do whatever you want.
But kind of sad.
It especially got sad as you continue, where, like, the one main girl who's like, I want to do this for a living, and I guess I should move out of Arkansas, and she, like, goes to, like, auditions and stuff, and she just seems so, like, more sad as it went on. It was very weird to me.
Why do you think she got more sad?
Because she wasn't succeeding, and then she did kind of succeed. She ended up joining, the lady who's like, I run a troupe of mermaids, and oh my god, she was intolerable.
Number one rule is no dead mermaids, yes. And then the girl gets hypothermia.
Yeah, and then she's like, you have hypothermia, get out of the pool, and like, Jesus
and
Christ.
She's like,
yeah.
Because she can't get it because she's got hypothermia.
She's got hypothermia, and then the way that crazy narcissist lady who runs a mermaid troupe was like talking to her about, I'm trying to take care of you, hypothermia, and she's like, yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
you can tell from everyone's reactions to it and what she's trying to not say constantly. She's trying to hold it back. You can tell what she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also the Mer Taylor, he was a real piece of shit too. The guy who's like, I'm the most successful mermaid tale maker in America, and I'm going to buy a restaurant and make it into a mermaid performance place in Florida. And he said he spent like $250,000 to put this little tank in. Mm-hmm. And the whole time we're watching this, like, he was insufferable just from like.
Why was he a piece of shit though? I don't remember that well.
I just found him insufferable, like the way that. So they're interviewing people, including our sad girl, who to work there full time as mermaid swimmers, and that's the only thing they do there. It's not a bar, it's not a restaurant. You come in and just sit down in like a little theater and watch some people like spin around in the water with a mermaid tail on,
like that, like with your legs, like that guy.
But do you remember what did he say when they were interviewing, and he's like, if you start to freak out in the water, you will be asked to leave, and you will not get a job. Like,
you're
very
that's
important.
Right, yeah.
We get it.
I remember that. Yeah, it wasn't just like, if you fuck up your audition, you won't just fuck up your audition. You'll be asked to leave. Mm-hmm. Like, I love that idea of like Ron Howard sitting behind the casting desk, coming in, and people being like, ba 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 ba, and Ron Howard going, that was really good, but I don't think you're gonna make it. Get out now.
You must leave the property immediately.
Release the dogs.
You didn't. That's what I was gonna do if I didn't get the job. Just leave. I wasn't gonna hang out.
Oh, wait a minute. Do you want to audition for part 3?
Yeah.
It was weirdly hostile.
Very hostile. The thing that kept me watching. I think it was like 4 parts. And what kept me watching personally was just how like. These people take this so seriously. Like, lady that has a mermaid troupe, she spends plenty of time explaining to you that she is the best in the business. And then, like, 20 minutes later, she's like, only about 50 people in America actually do this full time for a living. That was pretty funny. And, like, same with Mer Taylor, talking, like, just these people who seem to think really highly of themselves
when they're in a very small niche.
When they're in, like, a teeny tiny niche, yeah, exactly, and that was just fascinating to me.
Like, we start off with like thousands of people wanting to be mermaids at, was it Wiki Wacky or
Wiki something in Florida,
like a 70s sort of water park which had people pretending to be mermaids. That's where a lot of these people seemed to get their inspiration from. And made out like thousands of people. There's one mermaid spot for thousands of people, and then they do an audition, and there's like 30, and it's people who are like clearly fucking not gonna make it.
Yeah.
Like 400-pound lady.
Yeah, bless her, but you can't.
No one's saying you can't be a mermaid. Do you know what you can't be? You can't be an underwater acrobat.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't pull yourself out of the pool, that's a pretty bad sign.
Did you not know you can pull yourself out of the pool before you came here?
Yeah, like a lot of these people seemed like they were like people like on Instagram and stuff who take pictures of themselves,
which is
underwater,
fine, but
which is
then
totally cool.
don't.
That's your hobby, yeah.
I mean, it's weird. No, it's actually no, it's not fine. It's gross.
I don't give a shit. So yeah, not hurting anybody. Who cares? But just the kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? It was soaked in sadness. You know, did you feel that way, or is it just me?
Narcissistic delusion. People looking for meaning when there is none, and they just need to accept their own misery.
Yeah. As
like that, there's nothing wrong with you. This is the state of humanity.
Yeah.
This is how people feel. People feel lost. People are looking for meaning all the time.
Yeah, place
Doesn't
to belong
mean become a fucking mermaid.
Yeah.
Get a grip.
But do you know what kind of made it like almost worth it? Because I think we both predicted it. The Mer Taylor, once he opened his mermaid aquarium,
no one went.
Yeah, he was like, was it like we're gonna have a big Halloween bash. It's gonna be massive, and they're putting up all these decorations, doing all this stuff, and then like 10 people show up.
I think it was like 15.
Like, how much did you charge for this? Because you've told us that you're like $500,000 in debt from this place. I mean, this just does not seem like a good idea to me, you know.
Why don't you look it up? Why don't you find out what happened to him?
Yeah, what happened
or shall I?
Why don't you? Because you're better at dealing with your cracked phone than me.
You're a cracked phone. Okay. All right. Well, keep on talking then. Yeah. Keep on entertaining the people.
Yeah. So, like 10-15 people show up, something like that, and then the actual like show is like someone's wearing a mermaid costume and they just kind of like turn over in the water, and the audience is just like, you know, like, oh my god, maybe this. I mean, what I know is that this idea of like mermaid entertainers, I've seen that before. I think it's something that's especially popular like Florida. Maybe they might even have them in like Las Vegas, but it's always like at like a bar or a nightclub or a restaurant where you're doing something else, and it's just like there's an aquarium and like someone dressed as a mermaid is swimming around, like entertainment for something else.
She's really flapping around.
She's really flapping around.
Yeah, they didn't go to sea. In that example, they didn't go to see that, did they? It was
yeah. There are places like that, yeah, but it's like a club, you know. You're eating, you're drinking, you're talking to people. You're not sitting on a bench watching someone just like twirl in the water in like the most unimpressive way, you know, and paying money for that apparently for just that. Just seemed like a bad business decision, but I don't know. Maybe he's loaded now and stormed the Eiffel Tower. Any word? You're just smiling.
Okay. Uh-huh. Okay, he's been worn by Lady Gaga, apparently.
Okay.
He reports that his performances have since grown in popularity.
Okay, so like $50 on a show instead of $30.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. You know, it's very strange.
Are you saying really that the idea is fine, but make it like medieval times where people are eating dinner?
Yeah, you're eating and there's like, and plus medieval times has like an actual show. It's not just someone in a suit of armor just walking around, you know, like they're like jousting, you know. And
so what it should be,
it's like a theatrical production.
Like a huge, like multi-million-dollar mega tank where it's all connected. Like there's tubes everywhere for people to swim, and it should be like the whole show is that like, what do you want? And it better be eel. Okay, I'll have the eel, and then you watch them like trident and eel.
Something.
And there's eel whip them and.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the bit where they were going into the tank in like Las Vegas, the one where the girl got hypothermia, and the boss mermaid lady is like, "Don't touch the puffer fish. He bites."
Yeah.
Like somebody called OSHA, you know.
Don't touch the puffer
fish. Aren't those poisonous? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, just bananas. I mean, when we were watching it, I think it's on Netflix. Because when we first put it on, I was like, okay, I think that what they're trying to do here is like have another like kind of Tiger King thing where it's like, look at this subculture of these wacky people who are really into this like super specific thing, but then there's no murder in this, or
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, as kind
Prison
of
time
as
or-
the negative vibes we got from that lady, she was not, transporting baby tigers across state lines or anything.
no,
She didn't have a harem.
she's just really into herself.
Yeah.
She was annoying. Basically, is my complaint.
Find better
big deal.
weirdos. Which brings us to basement murder basements.
Oh yeah. Wasn't even planning on talking about
What was that?
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to mention it briefly. There's 3 parts out right now. Maybe there'll be 4 on Sunday. I think it's every Sunday.
Yeah.
A series about people who get murdered in a basement, and then the investigation.
Yeah.
Each episode is a different murder. So we're gonna reach the point soon where every murder has a documentary about it.
Yeah, right.
I'm looking forward to the documentaries, because they already really exist, like 48 Hours and stuff. I remember watching that, and that literally is someone was shot on a street corner. We know who it is. We're going to go over and interview them, and then like 2 cops interviewing them really quickly, because that's what they do every day, and busting this guy's alibi and going, well, maybe I did shoot at him, but I didn't mean to kill him. Okay, well, what did you mean to do? Okay, you're under arrest.
Yeah.
Like, it's, all the stuff we saw in there was like, there was a murder, and it was kind of obvious.
Yeah, it'd be like, this lady, we found her murdered in her basement, and people say that her boyfriend was abusive.
And really weird.
And really weird, and we interviewed him, and he was really weird, and then it turns out he did kill her.
Yeah, so what we did,
Really?
we went over to his house, right, and we found loads of weird shit, and I was like, I bet it is him.
And then it was.
And then it was.
That was that show.
Which is most murders.
Yeah, I mean, which is fine, I'm not trying to, minimize people dealing with violence and awful stuff like that, but just, as, a true crimey kind of show.
No, I am saying that. I'm saying your murder wasn't fun enough.
Your murder did not
If you want a
entertain me.
documentary, you've got to get murdered where it looks like maybe an owl attacked you. No one found your body for ages. Your body was placed in a weird way, but not molested. Interesting stuff like that, please. Not just...
Yeah, well, I mean, we've watched loads of true crime stuff, but that is the ones that are interesting. The staircase is interesting because...
You don't know.
You don't know, and that's a fucking weird story. And yeah, the way she died is very strange. And, it does go on a bit too long, but, that is interesting. There is, a sort of mystery there. Or, I don't know, I'm trying to think of some other good examples.
Who would you cast as what's his name, Murder?
Oh God.
In the
A mop standing upright.
If you'd been still alive, I'd have said Philip Seymour Hoffman. Would
Yeah,
be
actually,
great.
that would be a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he were alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, surely they're gonna make movies about the murders.
Murder.
The murders.
The murders. Yeah, surely.
Yeah, surely. And that story is interesting because it's there's the long term story of multiple people dying related to this family, and then him going to prison, and there's all this weird shit involved. I mean, that's kind of what is interesting about those cases. It's just the uniqueness of it, and his family being in charge of the legal system and in Low Country.
How did we get onto that? Sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah, we watched 3 episodes of, I can't remember what it was called. People get murdered in a basement, and it was very boring.
It reminds me of oh God, what's his name? The guy who plays Mark in Peep Show. Oh, what's his name? Sorry,
I can't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I remember him talking about he never liked the name Peep Show. He said, I wish that shows were called something where you could tell what the show is about. This show should be called The Two Men.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah,
that's every show.
Yeah,
The Two Men.
Yeah.
2.5 men.
Yeah. Yeah. So we hated that.
Breaking Bad is just meth.
Yeah.
Meth scientist.
Anything else to say about basement murders or more people?
No. Again, I like the titles. They help me understand what they are.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, MerPeople helped me understand definitely what this is going to be about. It's exactly what I would expect from that title. Yeah.
Yeah. What's next?
Got anything to say about Twitter changing its name to X?
What a great idea.
What a great idea. Brilliant idea. We should also, we'll put a new sign on the building, and we won't follow, like local regulations about putting signs up, and then we'll blast light into people's houses in the middle of the night. And
I think if you're going to have a company name that is a single letter, the building HQ should be that letter.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Well, like Apple HQ.
It should be in the shape of an apple.
It is actually in the shape of an enormous apple.
Is it?
Yeah. It's like 3,000 feet tall.
Okay.
In the shape of a massive apple.
I did not know that. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. And Google is actually in the shape of... It's actually... You can read it from space. It just says Google. It's very hard to navigate because all the corridors are curvy.
Right.
Apart from the L.
Well, Elon Musk is definitely
It should have been an X, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, but he's not going to buy a new building. They can't afford the one they're in now.
It's a tiny little building as well.
Yeah, is it? Nah, it doesn't look super big.
It's
Like
just an office building. I mean, how much space do you need?
Yeah. Yeah.
I often thought that about, like, when you read about, like, Meta is opening a new campus for 25,000 people. What are they doing?
Yeah. What are they doing that needs...
All that space.
Yeah.
Is it people, like, in the background going, like, shh, 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 shh? Or is it all bloat?
Yeah, I wonder. I mean...
What do I think about him changing the name to X? I do like me a bit of chaos, I'll say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like someone's wabberjacked him.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
The Wabbajack.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Next week, Twitter is now called Goat. Sheep Goat.
Goat.
Yeah.
Twitter is now called Goat Simulator. Elon threatens to sue maker of Goat Simulator game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at this point convinced that his ideas are like all on like a dartboard. Yeah. This is what we're doing next.
And do you think it's a Twitter executive like moving the dartboard, like trying to, like there's a bit called moderation or something, and he's trying to constantly get it, but
it's like Trump's staff
keeps going into like invade Kuwait and stuff.
Yeah, trying to like just don't show him that. Don't show him those papers. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What is his deal? He strikes me as the kind of person who like doesn't get enough sleep and is constantly like waking up in the middle of the night, like I have an idea. Institute this right now, or you're all fired. Yeah.
I've seen lots of people say like he's having a midlife crisis. Like he's not going to live to 110.
Yeah.
I hate that the whole like midlife crisis thing. Like no, that dude over there who's got his leather clothes, he's got his leather pants on. Mm-hmm. That's not a midlife crisis. That guy's 50. That guy's going to be dead in 25 years.
Yeah.
I can tell you. Yeah. He is not going to be an old man.
Yeah.
Like that's not a midlife crisis. That's an end of life crisis. That's the crisis you go into when you realise, oh, my body is failing me and I'm imminently going to die. And it's natural, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All go in the same
just
place.
do the right thing and dig your own grave, and just when you feel it, just pull the concrete slab over yourself and have a nice sleep. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking to Elon Musk, just anyone who feels, oh, I think I'm going to die. Do the right thing and get yourself in a plastic bag so the paramedics don't have to clean up much.
Just be ready, yeah.
You're going to shit yourself when you die, probably. Aren't you? You do that, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
If you hang yourself,
well, I mean, people do.
You come when you die. Right? Did you know that?
Do you?
When a man hangs himself, the last thing that happens is through strangulation,
mm-hmm.
not through snapping his neck, the last thing that happens is he gets a death erection and ejaculates.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
no,
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. The more you know.
And I remember reading about some people who'd tried to hang themselves and not succeeded, and there was a mixture of people saying it felt really good
mm-hmm.
to people saying it was agony.
Mm-hmm.
So,
mm-hmm.
There's no escape even there, is there?
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you roll the dice, you make your choice. Whatever you win.
Yeah.
Whatever. Please don't kill yourself.
Yeah, please don't. Yeah, I mean, do you have anything else to say about that? I don't really have a lot to say, just like, what are you doing, Musk?
No, I don't.
Whatever, yeah.
Good show.
I love that nobody, like, people refuse to call it X now. Like, no, fucking doing that.
It's
I'm not zeeting anybody.
Not even if I said to, I don't know, your mum, blah, 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 X, she wouldn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
She knows what Twitter is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's funny. But doesn't he just, like, hasn't he been trying to call stuff X for, like, years?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's his kid's name? Like, X01579? Anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. Meh. Did you want to tell us about Colonizing Venus?
Oh, the surviving owner, I think he just has an interest stake, of the company that put that submersible down to the Titanic and didn't bring it back up. He's been talking recently about wanting to colonize Venus by something like 2050. And he was asked a number of questions, I think by Business Insider. Sorry, this is like a couple of weeks ago. And he basically said that you could do it. There's a part of Venus in like a lower valley where it's not 450 degrees Celsius. It's only like 300. So you could build something for people to live in. And he's done the calculations, and maybe that's an extrapolation. He reckons that if there was a worldwide effort, we could live on Venus.
But why?
Yeah. You know Rapture, the city in BioShock.
Yeah.
You know, seriously, if there was a worldwide effort, we could make that.
We can make a Rapture.
Right now.
We could, yeah.
If there was a world, like if every nation in the world, or every big one, was like, nothing matters more than this, right? And then we make it, and then we have to constantly supply it with food and water and people.
Yeah. But why?
Why?
Yeah, why? Yeah.
But why? Why do you want to live on Venus?
I don't think that he does want to live on Venus. I don't think Elon Musk wants to live on Mars. I think that they want to stay here and send other people to colonize these places and send back precious minerals or whatever that we have here on Earth. Or it's just all marketing bullshit. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
I think that's it.
you know, like we can do amazing things. Like I'm a visionary.
Like
I'm a visionary genius. Let's move to Pluto.
Pluto, as well.
Fucking
Pluto.
why not? It may as well be Pluto.
Well, if there's precious minerals and stuff, you just send a big robot, don't you?
Yeah, I mean,
Why do you need
Yeah.
a person? But yeah, no, I agree. I agree. It's not really about that, is it? It's just promo.
It's just bullshit.
We could live on Mars. I have an idea of how to live on Mars. Yeah. All right.
just nonsense.
Yeah.
Just bullshit. And I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there are people who are like, I would want to be the first one to colonize Mars. That sounds like so much fun.
But
Well, you know, just be prepared for, you know, the your body not working anymore, and you know what I mean. Like, what are you gonna do about the gravity problem? And
we'll be in big
no
spinning
sun-
discs.
no
so
sunlight.
We'll have
and-
artificial gravity, and we'll have artificial sunlight. It'll be great.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that, yeah, like one day, 200 years, there will be people living on Venus and Mars, and there'll be scientific staff, and they will live there in the same way people live on Antarctica right now, where you don't live there, you've not colonized it, you just stay there for a bit.
Research. Yeah, and stuff like that.
And then
Yeah.
you come back and people are like, what was it like? And you go, it was cold.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all about, you know, I mean, sounds good. Yeah, it's cool.
Although even then, I mean,
check
if
it
you've got a
out.
robot to do it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just send a robot, you know. Yeah. You know, if the whole world banded together, we could make me a Subnautica habitat gun. So I can go in the ocean and make water out of bladderfish. And
What does the gun do?
the habitat gun just
Builds a habitat.
yeah, if I have steel in a bag in my backpack, it'll build a habitat for me. And
Oh, but when you say when the whole world bands together, you mean it's just to give that effect. So you like do something and like a load of people
So just
represented
start
by the
building it.
entire world. Like there's an Indian man, there's an Iranian man, there's a German man, and they're all just running in with
Yeah.
steel.
yeah, right, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, just why?
What's next? Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's it. We did write down Andrew Tate, but I don't actually have anything to say. I think I wanted to say one thing about him, but I mentioned it when we were talking about Shapiro.
What did you want to say about him?
I can't even remember now.
Is he
That's,
the top G?
that's how much I care. He's a top G. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Well, I suppose quickly before I go, I mentioned a while back that I was playing X4 Foundations, and I've been playing it more. And just to say that I got it wrong when I said that there wasn't a time skip thing, where you can fast forward time, and there's way more story element than I realised. I said I liked it before, but I think I said it doesn't have those things, and now I've discovered it has, and it really helps as well, especially the time thing.
Yeah. How many hours do you have in it now? You've been playing plenty of it. I mean,
Like 300.
sounds like a good deal to me. Yeah.
Something like that. How does that make sense? 300.
Well, I mean, that's not counting times where it's like you pause the game and take the dog out for half an hour and stuff.
Oh yeah, before I got the time thing, it was the 4th of July. I remember keeping it on.
Oh
and
yeah.
going out and coming back.
Yeah, then we went to watch fireworks.
So it could mine for me.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So
and now I've discovered the time thing, I feel like a total idiot.
Mm-hmm.
But just the way... I like playing games where if I don't understand something or can't work out what to do, I like not looking up the solution and get it... I much prefer to get it wrong and then on a second playthrough be like, oh, what a fool.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like,
because I've done so many things where I got stuck before and then looked it up and kind of ruined things.
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
I much prefer to do it wrong and then find out I've been doing it wrong.
Yeah, I also, depending on the type of game, I'm not a big fan of, like, looking stuff up, especially on, like, a first playthrough. Do you know what I mean? Like, anything. Yeah, I mean, I'll have to go back to Subnautica Below Zero soon. The last time I played, I got stuck in, like, one of the deep
when you had to go
underground...
in the water.
Shut up. In one of the, like, deep underground, like, areas where I, like, got down there and, like, I'm fine, but then, like, man, like, where the fuck am I? How do I get out of here? I don't know where to go anymore. I'm just, screw this. I guess I'll look it up at some point. I can't remember. I just, like, felt like I was in this little area where, like, I kept going back and forth and, like, could not find the exit, and it was annoying.
No, that is annoying.
Because the first one, like, I fucking loved. That's, like, one of my top 5 favorite games for sure. I never felt that way in terms of getting lost in that one. It's very in a lot of ways it's very linear because you have multiple entrances to like the Lost River Zone or whatever it's called, and then down to I can't remember what they're called anymore, like Volcano Zone or whatever. There's only certain ways in and out.
I got lost all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I hardly ever got lost in the first one.
Yeah, there was a bit I remember getting down to one of quite a deep cave just by accident and not realising it had another bit. And then later on realising I had to go back down to a cave. I didn't realise that was the cave I'd already been in. So searching forever for another cave because I thought that one was a dead end.
Yeah, right.
But, you know, that's kind of part of it.
Yeah, it's the like exploration and stuff, yeah.
With the X4, when I finally did look up stuff, loads of people were referring to that fucking maze level. I was like, I haven't done that. And I knew exactly when I had done it, because you're in a maze, floating around. It's really simple maze, but it all looks the same, and because you're in zero space, you can obviously turn. So it's not just like everything, oh, is it left or is it right? It's also, is it up or down as well? And it gets, like, it's effective as a level, but, oh man, don't put levels like that in your game, please.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was okay, but I can understand why people are like, I hate that level.
Yeah, right, okay. Yeah.
Sewer levels.
Still can't think of one. That's good. Anybody, what's a... Comment, what a sewer level that doesn't suck ass?
There were good bits in I think it was Blood Money, Hitman. There were good bits a couple of times where you are in the sewers in one of those levels. Like I remember there's a level with a hotel, but it's not a sewer level, it's just part of the level.
Yeah, if you just happen to go into the sewer for a bit. Like, I mean, Fallout 4, there's stuff like that. Like, you're in a little sewer area, but then...
That's
it's part of something. There's loads of that, but it's not a sewer level. Yeah, where it's like you're gonna be down here for the next like 3 hours, and the only enemies are big rats. That's it. Like.
Or zombies you can't see. Dead Island.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Big rats. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I don't mind the sewer stuff in Skyrim. Going down to was it the Ragged Flagon?
Oh yeah, well again, there's not like a ton of it. Like that's a very short
Yeah.
sequence leading into the Ragged Flagon. Yeah, and then once you've been through,
Right.
there's a faster way back out. So it's not like repetitive either. It's just not that long. You know what I mean?
So is everyone who goes to the Ragged Flagon, are they all like walking down the sewers to get there every time? Is it like that episode of Bar Rescue where they're like driving down a road and then driving down another road and then like driving across a field and like where the fuck is this bar? And then suddenly it's just there. Like,
In the middle of a cornfield with no road to it.
Yeah.
No, I just assume that everybody after going there for the first time is given the secret entrance through the grave in town in Riften.
We're nerds.
I guess. Yeah.
Shapiro. Alright.
His hips don't lie. Nah, I don't really have anything else to talk about right now. Anything? Yeah. Cool. Alright.
Good luck, Mr. Michael Douglas. Good luck.
Sure.